The Lotus Sutra, Chapter 9, Assurance for Arhats Trained and in Training. At that time, Ānanda and Rāhula thought, "We have often thought how happy we would be if we could receive assurance of supreme awakening." Then they rose from their seats, went before the Buddha, prostrated themselves at the Buddha's feet, and together said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, we too should have a share of this. We have put our trust only in the Tathagata. We are known and acknowledged by human and heavenly beings, and asuras all over the world." Ānanda always attends the Buddha, protecting and keeping the storehouse of the Dharma, and Rāhula is the Buddha's son. If the Buddha assured us of supreme awakening, not only would our hopes be fulfilled, but also the dreams of many. Then the 2,000 Shravaka disciples who were in training and no longer in training all got up from their seats, bared their right shoulders, went before the Buddha, put their palms together with complete devotion, looked up at the world-honored one reverently, repeated the wish of Ānanda and Rāhula, and stood off to one side. Then the Buddha spoke to Ānanda. "In the future you will become a Buddha named King of the Wisdom of Mountains and Seas, who is unlimited in power, Tathagata, one worthy of offerings, truly awakened, fully clear in conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled leader, trainer of men, teacher of heavenly beings and people, Buddha, world-honored one. You will make offerings to over 6 billion Buddhas, protect and keep the storehouse of the Dharma, and afterward attain supreme awakening. Teaching and transforming 200 million billion bodhisattvas, as numerous as the sands of the Ganges, you will enable them to attain supreme awakening. Your land will be named Never-Lowered Victory Banner. Its ground will be pure, with lapis lazuli for earth. The eon will be named World-Filling Wonderful Sound. That Buddha's lifetime will be innumerable tens of millions of billions of countless eons, so that even if a man counts and calculates for tens of millions of billions of innumerable countless eons, it will be impossible to know the full number. His true Dharma will remain in the world for twice his lifetime, and the merely formal Dharma for twice as long as the true Dharma. Ānanda, this Buddha, King of the Wisdom of Mountains and Seas, who is unlimited in power, and his blessings will be praised by all the Buddha Tathagatas of the 10 directions. Unlimited tens of millions of billions of them, like the sands of the Ganges. Then the world-honored one, wanting to say what he meant once again, spoke in verse. "I now say to you, monks, Ānanda, upholder of the Dharma, will make offerings to Buddhas, afterward attaining true awakening. His name will be King of the Wisdom of Mountains and Seas, who is unlimited in power. His land will be pure, named Never-Lowered Victory Banner. He will teach and transform bodhisattvas, as many as the sands of the Ganges. That Buddha will have great dignity and virtue, his fame going everywhere. Because of his sympathy for the living, the length of his life will be beyond calculation. His true Dharma will be twice his lifetime, and the merely formal Dharma twice that. Countless living beings, as many as the sands of the Ganges, in that Buddha's Dharma, will plant seeds that lead to the Buddha way." Then the 8,000 bodhisattvas in the assembly, who had recently started on the way, all thought to themselves, "We have not yet heard even of great bodhisattvas receiving such assurances as this. What can be the reason that these Shravakas have obtained such assurance?" The world-honored one, knowing what was on the minds of the bodhisattvas, then said to them, "Good sons, together under the Buddha Emptiness King, Ānanda and I started pursuing supreme awakening at the same time. Ānanda always wanted to listen and learn, while I was devoted to active practice. This is why I have already managed to attain supreme awakening, while Ānanda has been taking care of my teachings. He will take care of the Dharma storehouses of future Buddhas and teach, transform, and develop multitudes of bodhisattvas. Such was his original vow, so now he receives this assurance." When Ānanda heard his own assurance and the adornments of his land in the presence of the Buddha, his vow was fulfilled, and he was filled with joy at hearing something he had never heard before. Instantly, he remembered the Dharma storehouses of unlimited tens of millions of billions of past Buddhas, and understood them without difficulty, as if he were hearing them in the present. He also recalled his original vow. Then Ānanda spoke in verse. "The rarely met world-honored one reminds me of the teachings of innumerable Buddhas in the past, as if I were hearing them today. Now, having no more doubts, I dwell at peace in the Buddha way. As a skillful means, I will be a servant to protect and embrace the Buddha's teachings." Then the Buddha spoke to Rāhula. "In the future, you will become a Buddha named One Who Walks on Flowers of the Seven Treasures Tathagata, one worthy of offerings, truly awakened, fully clear in conduct, well gone, understanding the world, an excelled leader, trainer of men, teacher of heavenly beings and people, Buddha, world-honored one. You will make offerings to Buddha Tathagatas equal in number to the specks of dust of 10 worlds, always becoming the eldest son of those Buddhas, just as you are at present. The adornments of the land of this Buddha, one who walks on flowers of the 7 treasures, the length of his life, the disciples transformed by him, his true Dharma, and the merely formal Dharma, will be just the same as those of King of the Wisdom of Mountains and Seas, who is unlimited in power. And you will also become the eldest son of that Buddha. Afterward, you will attain supreme awakening." Then the world-honored one, wanting to proclaim this teaching once again, spoke in verse. "When I was a crown prince, Rāhula was my eldest son. Now that I have attained the Buddha way, he receives the Dharma and is my Dharma son. In future lives, he will see innumerable hundreds of millions of Buddhas. As the eldest son of each of them, he will single-mindedly seek the Buddha way. The hidden acts of Rāhula only I am able to know. As my eldest son, he is revealed to all. Innumerable tens of thousands of millions are his blessings beyond calculation. Dwelling at peace in the Buddha Dharma, he seeks the unexcelled way." At that time, the world-honored one observed the 2,000 people in training and no longer in training. They were gentle, quiet, and pure-hearted, giving their full attention to watching the Buddha. The Buddha said to Ānanda, "Do you see these 2,000 people in training and no longer in training?" "Yes, I see them." "Ānanda, these people will make offerings to as many Buddha Tathagatas as there are specks of dust in 50 worlds. They will revere and honor them, and protect and keep their Dharma storehouses. Finally, at the same time, in all the lands of the 10 directions, they will become Buddhas. All will have the same name, jewel sign, and be Tathagatas, worthy of offerings, truly awakened, fully clear in conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled leaders, trainers of men, teachers of heavenly beings and people, Buddhas, world-honored ones. Their lifetimes will be one eon, and the splendor of their lands, and the number of their Shravakas and Bodhisattvas, their true Dharma and merely formal Dharma, will all be equal. Then the world-honored one, wanting to say what he meant once again, spoke in verse. To these 2,000 Shravakas now in my presence, I give assurance that in the future all will become Buddhas. The Buddhas to whom they make offerings will be numerous as the specks of dust mentioned above. After protecting and keeping their Dharma storehouses, they will reach true awakening. Each will have a land in one of the 10 directions, and all will have the same name. At the same time, sitting on the place of the way, all will bear witness to the unexcelled wisdom. All will be named jewel sign, their lands and disciples, their true Dharma and merely formal Dharma, will all be equal and without difference. With the same divine powers, they will everywhere liberate the living, their fame will spread everywhere, and in time they will enter nirvana. Then the 2,000 people in training and no longer in training, hearing the Buddha's assurance, were ecstatic with joy and spoke in verse. World-honored one, bright lamp of wisdom, hearing this voice of assurance, we are filled with joy, as though sprinkled with sweet nectar.